Fake HOA VP slashed my tires. Their excuse was pathetic, and so was their case. What would you do if your neighbor, drunk on petty power, slashed your tires over a lawn ornament? That's exactly what happened to me in the quiet cul-de-sac of Willow Creek, where a self-proclaimed HOA vice president named Karen turned our peaceful neighborhood into her personal fiefdom. It wasn't just about my tire sit, it was about her reign of terror, built on lies, intimidation, and a fake title she wielded like a scepter. This is the story of how I exposed her, brought her empire crashing down, and reminded everyone that justice, though slow, always finds its mark. It started innocently enough. I'd moved into Willow Creek 6 months ago, drawn by its tree-lined streets and friendly vibe. My wife, Lena, and I loved our little fixer-upper, especially the front yard where we'd placed a quirky gnome statue, a gift from her late father. It was our slice of joy, a splash of personality in a sea of manicured lawns. But Karen, our next-door neighbor, didn't see it that way. She'd march over daily, her clipboard clutched like a holy relic, barking about community standards. Her latest obsession? Our gnome, which she claimed violated some non-existent HOA rule about excessive decor. I laughed it off at first big mistake. Karen wasn't the type to let a chuckle slide. Her notes started as passive-aggressive scribbles left on our windshield. Please remove unsightly lawn ornaments to maintain property values. Then came the fines, printed on official-looking letterhead from the Willow Creek HOA. $50 for the gnome, $100 for unapproved flower beds. I ignored them, thinking she was just a nosy busybody with too much time. But then I got a letter threatening a lien on our house. That's when I started asking questions. Turns out Willow Creek didn't have an HOA, not a real one. Anyway, Karen had invented it, duping half the neighborhood into paying dues for her community upkeep fund. She'd been at it for years, pocketing thousands while bullying everyone into compliance. The truth hit me like a brick, but I needed proof. I started digging, talking to neighbors who'd been fined for everything from loud wind chimes to improper mailbox colors. Most were too scared to challenge her. Karen had a knack for making people feel small. But one neighbor, old Mr. Jenkins, a retired lawyer with a sharp mind and sharper tongue, dropped a bombshell. He'd suspected Karen's HOA was fake for years but lacked the energy to fight her. "Check the county records," he whispered, handing me a USB drive with scanned documents. "She's not just a nuisance, she's a fraud." That was my spark. I spent nights poring over public records, confirming Willow Creek had no registered HOA. Karen's association was a sham, her fines unenforceable, her authority a lie. Then came the escalation. One morning, I woke to find my Carmi pride and joy, a restored '67 Mustang vandalized. All 4 tires slashed, the hood defaced with red spray paint screaming "rule breaker." My blood boiled. Lena was in tears, not just for the car but for the violation of our peace. I knew it was Karen. Who else would be so petty? I checked my security camera footage, and there she was, 2 a.m., sneaking across my lawn with a kitchen knife, slashing away like a woman possessed. The footage was grainy but clear enough. Karen, in her signature floral cardigan, destroying my property. I could have called the cops right then, but I wanted more than an arrest. I wanted her exposed. I rallied the neighbors for a plan. Mr. Jenkins became my secret weapon, his legal know-how guiding us. We found allies in Sarah, a single mom who'd been fined for her kid's basketball hoop, and Carlos, a landscaper hit with unauthorized tree pruning fees. Together, we uncovered Karen's paper trail. Bank statements showing her HOA dues funneled into her personal account, fake letterheads she'd printed at a local shop, even emails where she bragged to a friend about keeping the riffraff in line. The twist? That friend was Mrs. Larson, the sweet old lady who baked cookies for everyone. She'd kept the emails, horrified by Karen's cruelty, and handed them over when we confronted her. "I thought she was just strict," Mrs. Larson said, trembling. "I didn't know she was stealing." Armed with evidence, we called a neighborhood meeting at the community center, inviting everyone but Karen. I projected the security footage on a big screen, letting her tire-slashing spree speak for itself. Gasps filled the room. Then I laid out the documents. County records proving no HOA existed, bank statements showing her theft, and her own emails admitting the scam. The room erupted anger, betrayal, disbelief. Sarah stood up, her voice shaking, and shared how Karen's fines had forced her to skip groceries to avoid a lien. Carlos recounted how Karen threatened to report him to immigration over a non-compliant hedge. The stories poured out, each one fuel for the fire. Karen must have sensed the storm coming because she showed up uninvited, bursting through the doors like a soap opera villain. "This is slander," she shrieked, waving her clipboard. "I've kept this neighborhood pristine." I didn't flinch. I played the footage again, zoomed in on her face as she slashed my tires. The room went silent. Karen's bravado crumbled, her eyes darting for an exit. Then she tried her pathetic excuse. "I was protecting the community." That gnome lowered property values. It was laughable, but no one laughed. Mr. Jenkins stood, his voice like steel. "You're a fraud, Karen, and you're done." We voted unanimously to dissolve her fake HOA and report her to the police. The fallout was swift. The cops arrested Karen for vandalism and theft, her fake HOA scheme unraveling under scrutiny. She faced charges for embezzling over $20,000 in dues from neighbors. Her house, once the picture of suburban perfection, went up for sale. She couldn't afford the legal fees and the shame. The neighborhood watched her move out, her head hung low, her clipboard nowhere in sight. We celebrated with a block party, my gnome proudly displayed on a makeshift throne of flower pots. Sarah's kids shot hoops freely, and Carlos planted a vibrant, non-compliant rosebush. Willow Creek felt alive again, free from Karen's grip. But the victory wasn't just about Karen's downfall. It was about us neighbors who'd been strangers, now united. We formed a real community group, not an HOA, just a voluntary collective to maintain shared spaces without fines or fear. Mr. Jenkins led the charge, his gruff wisdom keeping us grounded. Lena and I fixed the Mustang, and every time I drive it, I'm reminded of what we fought for. Not just a car, but our right to live unbothered, to find joy in small things like a goofy gnome. Karen's pathetic excuse that she was protecting us held her delusion. But her case was even weaker. She thought she could bully us forever, but she underestimated the power of a community fed up. Her lies collapsed under the weight of truth, and her fake empire fell with her. What do you think? Did Karen get what she deserved, or should we have shown her mercy? Share your thoughts, because in Willow Creek we learned that standing up starts with speaking out.